Hey guys, just before we get into this video, I just wanted to make a quick note on the video I put up yesterday. It was just really, it looked as if it was kind of overlooked on most of you guys. It didn't really get many views, and I just wanted to sort of find out if you guys weren't really interested in it, or whether you didn't actually see it or what. But I'd appreciate it if you went and had a look at it. I'd put a bit of thought into it, so I just sort of want your opinions on it. I'll put a link in the description to it, or maybe an annotation on the screen. But anyway, sorry for taking up your time, and yeah, here's your video. Actually, I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that as a fact. Hey, what's wrong with buses? Give them a break. What did they ever do to you? They sway a lot, and they smell funny, and you can feel every bump in the road. Just like Emmy. Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe just for the last part. Hisao's definitely allowed to feel every bump, if you know what I mean. I'm really not looking forward to this. Why? Plus, Emmy's legs keep making a clanking noise that draws the attention of everyone else on the bus. She's in shorts again, and she's got long socks drawn up on her prosthetics so they don't look so obviously false again. But that doesn't stop the odd look or two every time her legs bump together with an audible clunk. I shift nervously in my seat, and Emmy raises an eyebrow questioningly. She doesn't seem to mind the stares, either that or she doesn't even notice that people are staring. I'm sure she's gotten her fill of odd looks before. After a certain amount of time, I doubt she'd notice anymore. Not that she'd ever tell me if I asked. Another fact is, I'm just not uncomfortable about the bus. I'm not just uncomfortable about the... Oh, right. I can't seem to come to terms with the fact that Emmy appears to be trying to bring me closer while at the same time pushing me away. The nurse said she trusts me, even if it doesn't look like it. But I'm not sure I can trust the nurse. Why can't you trust the nurse? Of course you can trust the nurse. He's protective of Emmy, just like I'm protective of Emmy, and I'd be likely to say something to make her look good if someone asked me about her. Well, he didn't necessarily make her look good. I mean, he kind of blatantly said that she's stubborn. You don't usually, when you're trying to I can't think of the right word. God damn it, I give up. So he might just be doing that. Anyway, what I was trying to get at was that the nurse called her stubborn. So there was something about the way he seemed genuinely surprised and Emmy invited me along. Maybe last night's talk helped more than I think, but I'm still worried. Meeting the parents is a big deal, right? Get rid of that S, buddy. Not that I haven't already met Emmy's mother, but that was just as an acquaintance. Now it's going to be as Emmy's boyfriend, with everything that implies. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest, an echo of that snow-covered afternoon that feels like it was so long ago that it might as well be another life entirely. Except then, I didn't know what was going on. I also didn't have medication to help prevent things spiraling out of control. I've come a long way in terms of my physical health, and for the second time today, I feel like I'll be able to live normally now, or at least as normally as possible. Now, if only I could manage my relationship as well as I've managed my heart, I'd be in great shape. I like those clothes. Well, we're here. Emmy grabs my hand as soon as we've stepped off the bus. She starts heading down the street almost immediately. Come on, we've got a couple of blocks until my place. What? Oh, okay. I follow Emmy down the street, watching her confidence drive. She's setting kind of a quick pace, for just a walk. She's excited to show you the fam. I guess she's anxious to get there. So does your mum do this sort of thing often? Nah, not too frequently. Mum's never been much for playing hostess. Oh yeah? Yeah, my dad was always the one pushing her to have people over. The sudden and unprompted reference to her father catches me off guard. And from the look on Emmy's face, I'm not sure she meant to mention him. I think I've only ever heard her talk about him once. All I remember is that Emmy's mum told me that he wasn't around anymore. mum prefers solitude? Emi laughs, either from relief that I didn't ask about her father or from finding my statement actually funny. Not at all. She's why I'm such an outgoing person, you know. She just prefers to be a guest rather than a hostess. It's less stressful that way, or so she says. Clearly she's never had to meet her girlfriend's mother for dinner. Emi giggles again and speaks in a teasing tone. Nervous, Hisao? You shouldn't be, you know. It's not that big of a deal. Just dinner at my house, that's all. Yeah, but have you ever brought home a boyfriend before? I confess that part of me dreads hearing the answer to this. Oh, I've never had a boyfriend. Yes! I know very little of Emi's past relationships. I don't even know if there were past relationships. Here we go. No, I guess I haven't. You sort of got a 50-50 answer there. Hey, maybe this really is kind of a big deal after all. Oh, way to make me nervous. You know, you sort of get my hopes up. Like, hey, you know, maybe this isn't a big deal after all. And then you say, you know, maybe this is a big deal after all. You should be scared, Hisao. You should be shitting your pants. Oh, good. Now I feel twice as nervous. Though, to tell the truth, I'm pretty happy to hear that I'm the first one. Maybe we've got something special after all. Bolstered by this new thought, I've managed to calm down considerably by the time Emi knocks on her front door. Nice house. Well, nice garden at least. We haven't seen the house, but nice side of the house, I guess. Hey, Mum, open up, we're here. There she is. That's where you get your looks from, Emi. The door swings open and Mrs. Ibarazaki stands grinning at her daughter. Not grinding her daughter, that's a little disgusting. The grin is still surprisingly similar to Emi's. I'm never going to get used to that. You know, people normally wait for a few minutes before they start shouting at the door. And most mothers say hello to their daughters instead of scolding them right away. Ah, of course. Welcome home, dear. I've missed you. An affectionate hug, later we're inside, and it's only then that Emi's mum seems to remember that I'm actually here. And hello to you too, Hisao. How are you? I'm quite well, thank you. Nice to not have school to worry about for a little bit. Ah, a lovely little chuckle. Haha, yes. You've finished up your exams, haven't you? That must be quite a relief for you both. It's certainly a weight off my mind, that's for sure. Mine too. I think I slept well for the first time in weeks last night from relief alone. Is this news? If this news is a surprise to Emi's mother, she doesn't show it. Still, her response betrays a note of interest. Is that so? I'm very glad to hear that, Emi. You know I get worried when you get all wound up about, well, exams. Oh yeah, sure, exams. Certainly Emi's mother knows something I don't. Or rather, she doesn't know that Emi's told me about the nightmares. It's interesting being able to observe how Mrs. Ibarazaki covers for Emi. That protective instinct to make sure that I don't know any more than Emi's willing to tell me. She's a mother, that's motherly instinct right there. I suppose Emi's got more in common with quarks than I've ever realised. Oh, sorry. I'm just dying over here, you know, that's alright. Continue. Moves around fast, impossible to understand, though direct observation, yet she has an effect on everyone she encounters. I wonder if Mrs. Ibarazaki will figure out that I know about the nightmares, or is she just keeping everything secret from everybody? Yeah, it's not been as bad this year as in the past. Hisao helped me to stay focused. Oh yeah, sure. Focused. Okay, I know that's not true. She even cut off the contact outside of school hours during exam week. But she did see me during the day, and she told me more than once that the morning run was the only thing she looked forward to during exams. So maybe it's not that much of a lie. Either way, to hear that being around has helped even a little makes me feel a bit better. Emi's mother raises an eyebrow at this statement. Either she doesn't believe Emmy, or she's as surprised as I am. Well, then it appears that it's a good thing you two have become so close. I tell you to take good care of my daughter, Hisao, but it looks like you're already doing that. Emmy grins at this and seems to take pride in my having managed to ingratiate myself? Ingratiate. I swear that's what it looks like. With her mother so easily. Actually, I'd say your daughter's been the one taking care of me. She's gotten me out and running. Oops. I've probably been more active since meeting her than I ever was even before. I'd actually never thought of it that much, nor had I ever appreciated the humour in it. I wasn't too active before the heart attack. Pick-up games of soccer don't really count since they weren't that common. So now that I know for sure that I have a weak heart, now I run every day, pushing my luck with the help of my medication. I chuckle quietly, then realise that I never finished my sentence. Well, before I had my heart attack, I wound up at school here. It comes out so casually that there was a time that I would have thought twice about talking about what was wrong with me at all. But now it just seems silly to care, especially in the company of Emmy and her mother. If Emmy can be cavalier about her disability, then so can I. I think back to the track meet, where Emmy declared herself the fastest thing on no legs. The fact of her obvious loss has never seemed to bother her, at least not in public. Being stuck in the wheelchair frustrated her, I know, but even that was something she dealt with on her own, despite my efforts to the contrary. Emmy has a way of bringing out the more active side in you. I've never quite figured out how she does it. Those puppy dog eyes she gets, for starters. I'm not surprised that she managed to rope you into an exercise routine. If Red weren't just as stubborn as she is, I'm sure that Emmy would have gotten her out and running with her too. Oh, that reminds me, Rin says hello. Oh, that's a nice table. It's a lovely dining room, I'd have to say, Mrs. Ibarazaki. Excellent. Nice little statue there, there's some lovely drapes. I'm liking your house so far. Very nice. I drift to the outer edges of the conversation again as we move into the dining room to eat. It smells delicious in here, actually, I just farted. And the spread that Emmy's mum has produced is impressive. Oh, is she oh, okay, I won't go there. I was gonna put some sexual innuendo in there, but I won't. Whoa, you made enough to feed an army in here. Is it too much? Well, you can always take some leftovers when you go. Sounds great. I can only handle cafeteria food for so long. Something home cooked would be a welcome change of pace. What he said. Thanks, Mum. Food tastes as good as it smells, and there's a lull in the conversation while we all dig in. Emmy assaults her plate with the usual amount of gusto, and I will admit that I set a pretty fast pace myself. So, Hisao, I hear that you and my daughter have been having anal sex. Or rather close. The urge to say something like, not really, is so strong that I open my mouth to say it, but then reassert control. We are close. There's no getting around it. I mean, Emmy's brought me here, hasn't she? You should just blurt out, well, you know, we did fuck in the track shed. Oh, and, you know, up the arse too, so... Imagine what sort of, you know, reaction you'd get from that. It'd just be dead silence and everybody would just be looking at you. Fortunately, both Emmy and her mother seem to take my reaction as a sign that I'm caught off guard rather than considering saying something cruel. I suppose we have. I blame the morning runs myself. Make it sound like a bad thing, Hisao. Well, I for one found it a relief. Why's that? Emmy's always been a popular girl, but never made many close friends. This is a bit of news to me. I've always seen Emmy chatting with her classmates in the hallways, and certainly the whole track team seems to love her, but is it true that she chooses to isolate herself during lunch with Rin and me? Not exactly the sort of behaviour one expects from a popular girl. After all, Then again, I've experienced her unwillingness to get close firsthand, so I can't say that I'm surprised. I was beginning to have my doubts. Emi rolls her eyes to the ceiling and grumbles something I can't quite make out. Huh? What? What's that you just said? Nothing. Mrs. Ibarazaki chokes on her drink with laughter. You've been hanging out with the nurse too long, Emi. Whoops. I'm going to have to talk to him about corrupting my daughter. Oh, I think I've already done that, Mrs. Ibarazaki. Pretty sure I've already corrupted your daughter twice. Oh, actually no, 3 times from memory. Somehow I don't think that would be very effective. I learned most of it from you anyway, not the nurse. Don't listen to her, Hisao. She's a born liar. Yeah, right. Oh, I don't know, Emi. I think your mother has a point. What? You traitor! You're supposed to take my side in this. Yeah, but you did lie about your leg after the Ow! A kick in the shin from an unmistakably plastic foot cuts me off, but not before Mrs. Ibarazaki's eyebrows shoot upwards. What about your leg? It wasn't a big deal, that's all. I was just, wheelchair for a bit. The last few mumbled words are quickly deciphered by Emi's mother. I suspect she has experience with this sort of thing, and a worried frown appears on her face. So that's why you keep dodging my calls. Oh, Emi, I know how much you hate being in a wheelchair. No wonder you've been in such a mood lately. Yeah, she's much happier on her feet, so to speak. Well, of course. She spent enough time in a chair just after the... Oh! Oh, I thought that was a big thing that she sort of brought up the accident. But okay, alright. She didn't get prosthetics immediately? Wait, what? Hang on. Why are we, like, sort of, you know, excluding Emi out of the conversation here? This is kind of rude. Me and Mrs. Ibarazaki are just sort of, you know, talking here. Emi's just sort of... Yeah, we're talking about Emi, and Emi's just sort of sitting there like, this is kind of rude, guys. Well, at least that's what I think. Okay. No, she had to finish healing up before they let her start that sort of therapy. You've got to go through to adjust those things. Especially since she wanted to run on them. I had no idea. Yeah, it sucked. Oh, did you see Rin's mural at the festival? Emi's sudden change of topic makes me realise belatedly that she's been fidgeting the whole time her mother and I have been talking. There you go, see? I notice these things before you, Hisao. I should have figured on her being a little skittish when it comes to talking about the accident, even around her mother. No, I didn't make it out to the festival, remember? Although I caught a glimpse of it at your track meet, it seemed pretty weird to me. I think that's more or less what she was going for. She talked a lot about it being dreamlike, or trying to make it dreamlike. Rin's art is one of those things I don't think I'll ever understand. Rin in general is one of those things I don't think I'll ever understand. That's not surprising. I don't think Rin expects to be understood. Yeah, well that's alright then. She told me once that art allows people to understand stuff they wouldn't understand otherwise, but all the same she doesn't think it actually works that way. Well, that's just confusing. Okay. Sorry, this music. It's my favourite. I'm surprised that Emi's talked about this with Rin extensively enough to actually have Rin's opinion, such as it is. Although I expect that Rin could not, if she were so inclined, say the same thing about Emi's. Unless, of course, Emi is purposely keeping me in the dark about everything, which is likely but unpleasant to think about, so we won't think about it then. It's not hard to do now, is it, Hisao? I drift down this unpleasant train of thought for a while, losing track of the conversation. Hey Emi, I've been meaning to ask. Huh? Are you going to visit your father this year? From the way she says it, you'd think that Emi's mother was talking about the weather. From the way Emi reacts, it's clearly not the weather they're talking about. She flinches, a slight jerk of the head backwards as if she's just been slapped in the face. Can we talk about this later? Her voice sounds brittle, strange, It looks as if she's been severely shaken by the question. It seems that Mrs. Ibarazaki misjudged just how close Emmy and I are. Some things, it seems, are best not conversed about with me around. Her father is one of those things. The accident that took her legs is probably another one of those things. If her reaction to the earlier conversation between her mother and myself is any indication, it doesn't take Emmy's mother long to realise she's screwed up. Of course we can, dear. I'm sorry to bring it up. I just wanted to ask so I could make plans. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Emmy fidgets nervously, as if embarrassed by her own reaction. I confess that her reaction is confusing. She only just mentioned her father to me earlier today. Less than a few hours ago even. Why does a simple question about when she'll visit her father cause such a strong reaction? It's kind of blatantly obvious, Hisao. You are one moronic idiot. Unless whatever serenity she claimed to have reached by means of our talk the previous evening has suddenly evaporated. Unless I'm wrong, of course, of the entire thing, then I'm going to look like a complete idiot. Or it didn't help as much as she thought, or claimed. I'll be right back. Go to visit little girl's room. No, you're just going to go have a cry, I have no doubt. Emmy gets up suddenly and leaves the table, leaving me and Mrs. Why do I always mess up this last name? Ibarazaki alone. I'm a little conflicted. Should I go after her or should I stay? Why would you go after her? She's supposedly going to the little girl's room. Why? I don't even... That's just weird as hell. It's obvious that Emmy's departure was not based on the call of nature. Oh yeah, but still. Something's bothering her, and I have to know what it is. How to go about it? Follow my basic instinct of the fact that it's kind of weird to go after her, even though we know that it's, you know, not what she says, but no, I'm still just going to go on my basic instinct and we're just going to talk to her mum. You know, maybe she'll tell us what's going on. She seems to be on equal levels with me, so yeah, we'll do that. There's an awkward silence at the table for a while after Emmy dashes off. I can't think of anything to say. Emmy's mother sighs, breaking the silence. Sorry about that, Hisao. I sometimes forget that Emmy's touchy about certain subjects. And I was talking about the wheelchair thing, too. Should I go after her? Heavens no, she didn't leave the table to continue the conversation, you know. But if she's troubled, shouldn't someone help her? If it were anyone else, I'd say yes, but my daughter is stubborn as a mule, and if she wants to be alone, it's best to leave her alone. Otherwise she'll probably say something she'd regret, which would cause you to say something you'd regret, and I would prefer that dinner doesn't end with one or the both of you storming out of the house. If that were to happen, I'd be a terrible hostess, wouldn't I? I've already acted as a fool once today. That's okay. I shouldn't have brought up the wheelchair, apparently. This is about oh my god. Pull yourself together. Ibarazaki frowns, clearly more bothered by Emmy's omission that she let on. I wish she wouldn't do that. It just makes me worry more, you know. She does this often? What, running off to the bathroom? No, I can't say she does. Keep injuries from her mother, though? Well, that's a little more common. Every time I catch her lying like that, she assures me that the only reason she didn't tell me is because it wasn't a big deal. This sounds all too familiar to me, Mrs. Ibarazaki. If it's any consolation, I'm sure the only reason I knew about it all was because I saw her every day. This selects a dry chuckle from across the table. Mrs. Ibarazaki sighs, a little sadly. Still hesitant about it getting close to people, huh? I keep hoping that she'll get over that. It's funny, really. She bounced back so well from the accident in so many ways. I guess some things really never go away. From the looks of it, the whole thing still bothers her too. She seems to be a little more willing to talk about the accident without Emmy around, though. don't be lagging it up now, computer. Hey, I've got a question if it's alright. Oh? What else did Emi lose in that accident? The nurse said that she gets this way near the anniversary and she won't talk about it to me. So you thought I'd fill in, yeah, hopefully. If you're a good mother, Mrs. Ibarazaki, you won't fill it in. Alright, that's something your daughter has to choose to let out to other people. Well, there's a problem with that request, you know. There we go. Thank you, Mrs. Ibarazaki. Let me guess. You promised Emi that you wouldn't tell anyone she didn't want to know, and you don't know if she wants me to know. Something like that. I promised Emi that she'd be the one to tell people the full story. There you go. But isn't that important? I mean, it's clearly had a huge effect on her if she's still like this so long after the accident happened. That's true. It did have a long-lasting effect on her. There are a few things that she'll probably never really get over. For a moment, Mrs. Ibarazaki looks incredibly saddened, as if an old woman is bothering her. I suppose there are a few things I'll never really get over either. Another dry chuckle, with a shake of her head, Emi's mother banishes the memory. Look, there's something you absolutely must understand about the way Emi thinks about the accident. What's that? It wasn't a big deal. Somehow I managed to keep my mouth from falling open in surprise, but it takes some effort. That has to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. What? Okay, maybe it's not that simple. Oh, all of this depressing music. I don't like it. It's not fun. It's making me feel all sad. But it's a pretty accurate summation. Emi believes that the accident did not define her, and that everything she lost that day didn't define her either. She's not that girl who lost her legs. She's the fastest thing on no legs. Her optimism and energy came out of that wreck without a scratch, as far as she's concerned. Yeah, it goes beyond that, doesn't it? I mean, last night she told me that she refused to rely on me because it wouldn't make losing me too painful. Not really. You said she won't tell you about the accident, even though you've asked her about it before. The reason she won't talk about it when you ask her is because it's not something you absolutely need to know. Even if she wasn't terrified of getting too close to anyone, she still wouldn't talk about it. She's afraid of being close to me. Oh goodness me, yes. For all that talk about being unscarred by the accident, she's gained the ugly knowledge of how quickly it can all be over. So she's not going to let people get especially close to her, and she certainly would resent any implication that she cannot work through this on her own. But I don't think she can. No? Are you sure you've been dating my daughter and not somebody else? Trust me, Hisao, she could get through it on her own. She has nightmares and can't sleep well, and she does this every year. Tell me, if she wasn't able to get through it on her own, you really think she'd still be alive? She would have killed herself, or something equally melodramatic. So what? I shouldn't try and help her? I didn't say that. I hate seeing my daughter like this, and knowing that she could rely on someone else would let me relax. You just need to understand that accepting help goes against everything Emi thinks about herself and the way the world works. If you still want to offer her help, then I guess that's your call. Honestly, I'd like you to, but it'd be silly not to warn you that it's not going to be easy. You just need to be patient with her. She's already closer to you than anyone else she's ever met at Yamaku. Well, it sure doesn't feel that like we're very close. I'm not even kidding. As soon as I read that, my heart dropped. I don't even want to read that. Emi's voice nearly gives me a heart attack. I'm kind of shocked. I'm gonna try and carry on. Whoa! Didn't hear you come back, Emi. How convenient. Wait, were you eavesdropping? Nope, just happened to come back at the right moment, I guess. Emi, Hisao was just... Emi holds up a finger, cutting her mother off. On his way out of the house? Yeah, I know. Emi's trembling with anger now, looking vaguely betrayed. Emi, don't be ridiculous. We were just... You promised! The pain carried in that last word is almost too much for me to bear. The idea that I could hurt her that much is like being kicked in the gut. Emi's mother looks similarly pained by the thought. And I kept that promise. Just listen. There's no reason to go throwing people out of the house. Emi's mother seems to be both angry at her daughter's outburst and embarrassed that I'm a witness to it. There's only one real solution to this problem, I think. It's okay. I'll go. Now really, that seems a little unnecessary. Don't worry about it. Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Ibarazaki, and for the advice. It's my pleasure, Hisao. I'm sorry we didn't get to the dessert. That's okay. I have to watch what I eat anyway. Good evening, Emi. Mrs. Ibarazaki. The formality of our conversation sorry, coupled with the fact that I'm getting ready to leave, seems to snap Emi out of her anger. No, wait, I'm sorry. I've been so... And after last night, I just thought... You don't have to go. I take it back. It's okay. I can't help but smile slightly. She can barely articulate her apology, and I really would like to stay. But I don't think I can, right now. I need to think about what her mother said, and what I'm going to do about us. I don't want to risk accidentally getting Emi angry again in her current state either. No, I think I'd better leave. You seem pretty shook up and, well, I'd only wind up trying to help you again. I know you'd prefer I didn't, so I'm going to leave instead. But... Hey, it's not a problem. You don't want a white knight on a white charger, right? Just promise me one thing, okay? What? Don't be angry at your mum, okay? She was just giving me some advice, that's all. Emi nods hesitantly, like the simple idea is all that she can grab onto at this point. She's so terribly off balance, but I can't do anything about that right now. Okay. See you tomorrow, okay? Running in the morning, don't forget. I can see that I've hurt Emi by deciding to leave, but there's nothing I can do for her as things stand, and I know that she's too stubborn to admit that she wants me to stick around. I watch various emotions cross Emi's face as she tries to process everything that's just happened. Shortly comes that calm look again, like last night, and that voice that tries so hard to sound careless. Sure, Hisao. See you around. Both of us are unwilling to concede emotion at this point, and I'm having a hard time keeping up my facade. So I turn on my heel and walk out the door. I shut it behind me slowly, pausing for a moment as the latch catches my hand on the doorknob. Did I make the right decision just now? Should I have stayed and tried to work things out? No, I decide. Not in front of her mother like that. In spite of everything, I'd rather keep Emi's mother insulated from the sort of anger that surfaced last night. Even though she's probably used to it, some protective instinct wants me to keep Emi's image as a cheerful girl intact. With a start, I realise my hand is still resting on the knob. I take my hand away, put it in my pocket, and head down the slowly darkening street. I let out a long breath. So do I. Well, that was pretty eventful. I'm a little bit depressed from that, if you couldn't tell by the sound of my voice. The wait until tomorrow morning comes isn't going to be easy. In fact, I'm going to stop it there since I'm all bloody emo-like now. Jesus, that was sad. It was very sad. No wonder this is one of the favourite parts. Fuck, that was very sad. Anyway, no ninjas cutting onions just yet, but I have no doubt whatsoever that they are just around the corner, ready to strike when I least expect it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you next part. Bye.